Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I refuse to get a haircut. Welcome to another rendition of Kingdom's Evolution. I'm on a haircut strike. So I remember when I was growing up, there used to be a gentleman by the name of Dr. McKee who used to call me Doggy. And Dr. McKee was one of my heroes in life. Oh my gosh, this guy was a stud. The rumor was he immigrated from Ireland, and he immigrated with cause. so, but he was always a hero in my life. He could call me whatever he wanted to call me. Yeah, he was a skin doctor. His son Mackie became a great skin doctor as well, and a beautiful family. It was absolutely beautiful family. So I want to talk today about a little Grim Reaper show, and I've been trying to figure out how to put this on. Like, we go through life, we compete at all these things. You know, we're in a capitalist society. We compete to be better. We compete at sports. We compete at life. We compete to be the best we can be, to earn money, to have a family. If that's what floats your boat, but we compete for things. Some of them are hard goods. Some of them are houses. Some of them are food. Some of them are basics. Um, but who is the number one person? Like on a golf course. On a golf course, who is the number one thing that you're competing against on a golf course? So I like to play golf for money. I don't play for a lot of money anymore because I lost a lot of money when I did play for a lot of money. If I had won a lot of money playing golf before, I'd still be playing for a lot of money. But unfortunately, I didn't, so I don't. But I still enjoy competing for money on the golf course. But when I play golf, is that really what the competition is? So that because when you play golf, you're not really competing for the money. The money is a sidebar note to the competition. Even when you're playing one on one or whatever, what you're really competing against is yourself. That's really what you're competing against. You're competing against how well you handle adversity, because golf is a game of misses. So, professionals are exceptional at not making those misses. They practice a lot, spend a lot of time, great athletes, and so they have great eye-hand coordination. They have great mentality, and they just don't make a lot of mistakes. So they don't necessarily have to deal with the frustration of making bad shots. When you're an amateur like myself and you make a fair amount of bad shots, one of the keys to getting better or being a good golfer or competing for money is, how do you handle a bad shot? How do you react to it? How do you compete for that? And so at 63, 64, soon to be, how the hell old am I? I'm 63, soon to be 64, hopefully. Uh, but how do you handle that competition? How do you get better? So that's what you're always thinking about. How do I get better? How do I compete better? How do I handle the next situation better than I handled that situation? How do I not make the same mistake? But more importantly, how do I make a good shot, my next shot, and not worry about the last shot? So it's kind of like you do like a rundown. Like, okay, what did I did wrong? Like, I'll give you an example. 18th hole, playing Wolf Hollow. So my arch nemesis has hit two terrible shots. Well, he's not my arch nemesis. It's a classmate of mine from 79 of U High. But he's hit two terrible shots. The only reason he's not in the water and the hole is mine and the back nine is mine is because it's wet and the ball somehow stays out of the water by a foot. I mean, a foot. Just go in the water. I hate to be like that, but really, that's kind of what you're thinking inside when you're competing and you're playing for money. Is like, just go in the water. Just go in the water already. So he hits his next shot. His next shot stays a foot out of the water. So he's got a terrible. He's got a terrible eye. First shot, second shot. He's got a terrible. Anyway, so he's got two shots that he's tried to hit in the water, and he's not in the water. It's a par five, Wolf Hollow. And so I've hit two relatively decent shots. I'm 120 yards out, and I've got it's a relatively easy shot to try to give myself a birdie putt. And I'm just thinking, don't fly the ground. I'm thinking of all the things like, well, this is what you don't want to do. This is what you do want to do. You want to try to hit 120 yards. Doesn't look like 120 yards. So I'm thinking I'll hit my 125 yard shot, and I'll just try to, not try to hit it too hard. So whenever you're trying to hit a shot that's just not like just hit your regular swing. Whenever you're trying to do that, you open yourself up to really bad things happening. Sometimes you can do it on good conditions. These were wet conditions. Didn't happen. Hit a bad shot. I'm still 25 yards short, 25 steps of the pin, and it's kind of a tough pin where I've left myself is not really where I wanted to leave myself as far as trying to get up and out for par. The key is emotionally, after I hit my bad shot, I'm not beating myself up. I'm not calling myself an idiot. Not wondering how in the world could I hit a shot so bad. Thinking like, okay, next shot we can do. What's my next shot? I'm thinking like, probably should have kept my shoulder square on the last shot, but that shot is done. Next shot. And the same thing, just repeating it over and over. It's like, okay, so what do I need to do on my next shot? So one of the things about competition is you learn over time what helps you and what hurts you, right? So that you can get better. So when I'm competing on the golf course, really the only person I'm competing with, and if my opponent makes his birdie putt or whatever, doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say is, on a golf course, the only person you're really competing with is yourself. And how much are you going to let your last mistake determine the outcome of your next shot? And if, you talk crap to yourself, if you downbeat yourself, if you're so consumed by how you could hit a bad shot from 120 yards away and still be 20 yards short of the green, chances are you're not going to hit a good shot on the next one because you're not mentally preparing for the next shot, the next swing, and trying to hit the best shot that you can because you're still consumed by the disappointment that you as a golfer were able to hit such a bad shot last swing. So that being able to forget, like not being able to focus on what you did wrong as opposed to what you need to do next to do better is one of the keys to competing at golf. Let's take a different sport, like let's say pickleball. All right, pickleball is different because pickleball you're competing against somebody, so it's a different game. So what they do has consequence to what you do. So if you're playing somebody that's a lot more athletic than you, that's better than you, that's quicker than you, they're going to kick your ass. It doesn't matter. The rest of it doesn't matter. Like however good you want to compete, like there's a guy by the name of John Parks, who is a great pickleball player, dominant pickleball player, or my son Emmerich, who's a great pickleball player. If I'm playing them singles, number one, I can run okay, but after I'm not fast anymore at 60, 63. So chances are they're still fast, they're still athletic, they still got a lot of spring in their step. Chances are, and there's not even a chance really, 10 times out of 10, they're going to beat me at singles at pickleball. So guess what I don't do? I don't play singles at pickleball. I play doubles at pickleball. And when I play doubles at pickleball, I try to have John Parks on my team or Emmerich on my team. So it's a different competition, but my point is like you're competing against somebody else's talent. It's not at golf. Like if I'm playing a better golfer, what they do doesn't impact my ability to do what I need to do. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I want to talk about a competition that we know we're going to lose. Every single human being except one since the beginning of time has lost his competition. Lost it dead. It was dead. The outcome was defined before the competition started. And of course, I'm talking about life. So life is programmed, so death is programmed into life. If you want to live, you got to die. That's just it. If you want to live, you're going to die. That's it. Right? It's programmed in. It's programmed into life that you're going to die. So the question then becomes, it's like, so if life's not a competition with death. It's not. Like me playing Emmerich in singles, or me playing John Parks in singles. It's like, it's not a competition. You're going to lose. That's not competitive. You're going to lose. You're going to die. It's going to happen. So, you know, since I'm on YouTube, I can't talk about certain things. But accepting that, and understanding that can kind of help us compete in this life. Right? So, understanding that the end game is the end game is one of the things that we don't want to talk about. We don't really want to consume it, because what we really kind of want to do is we want to fight, and then just be dead. Let everybody else worry about that crap, because we don't have to worry about it, because guess what? We're not here. It's not always how it goes down. Sometimes you get dreadfully ill, and you know, it's you got to deal with it. You got to deal with what's happening to you, and as we fight, the outcome, whether it's tomorrow or 10 years from now, the outcome is written. So the question becomes then, is that really a competition? And I guess I want to stream this with you, because I've given this some thought, but I kind of wanted to stream it with you and have this conversation while we're thinking about it. So is life a competition with death? You know, are we competing against death? Are we weak if we accept death? You know, are we strong if we fight for life? And I guess that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. It's like, well, if you know the end result, we already know the end result, right? We know the end result. So we love life, love it, because you got to love breathing. Everything about life is gorgeous and lovely, except pain and sickness. But everything else, love, fear, suffering, anger. If you know, these are all things that we as human beings, and this is another thought I had. These are all things as human beings that we get to feel. We get to feel. As children of God, as children of the Creator, we get to experience these things. So we're made in the image of the Creator. So somewhere, I don't think we're given any feelings or things that the Creator doesn't feel. And so I was thinking about this the other day. So the Creator, we're made in the images, the image of the Creator of the universe. So think about this. All these things that we feel, that we feel, the Creator of the universe feels. The Creator of the universe feels all of these things. So the Creator of the universe probably felt all of these things before we ever existed. Right? Before the Creator of the universe made man, in order for the Creator to make us in the Creator's image, the Creator of the universe had to feel these things. So just think about your lifespan. So 63 now. But think about your lifespan. So as you're a child, you experience need. As a child, you're completely dependent on other people feeding you. The flip side of that is you are dependent, but if you're blessed with a beautiful family, that that need of being fed, being housed, of having a place of safety and security leads way to absolute pandemonium. because dude, you don't have to worry about jack. You got a place to go, you got all these things taken care of. It's like this bubble of protection, and all you have to do as a child is play and learn and try not to do anything really, really stupid, which, which, which the human body is kind of equipped for, right? Because when you do things that are really, really stupid, it causes pain. It causes pain, and you go, "Oh, I don't want to do that again because I don't want to feel pain." So again, think about this: what pain does the Creator feel? How does the Creator feel pain? How does the Creator, how does the Creator feel pain? What pains are Creator? I was thinking about this. Like, what pains are Creator? You wouldn't think that the person that creates this insane universe can ever feel pain, and yet in order for the Creator to make us in His image, he had to feel pain. It's possible that the Creator just felt pain after we were created, and He understood pain through us. It's possible that the Creator didn't understand pain before us. Possible, but how would God know when we were created in God's image to feel pain? I'm not that great. I didn't do great in philosophy, so I don't know the ins and outs of this, but I just bear with me as we kind of walk through it. Well, so what are some of the other things that God created His image? So the joy of being a child. Is there any more joyous time in life when you don't have fear, when you don't have to pay bills, when you don't have to do any of that stuff? You just play a game of tag. You just play a game of tag. And there's 20 of you, or you play run them through, or you play kick the can, or you play kickball, and you're competing to win, or you're competing not to be last, or competing to be first, or whatever you're competing for. You're just competing, but really the end of it doesn't matter, right? The end, it's not like anybody's getting thrown in a river for losing, or you're going to win $1 million if you win. You're just out there for the sheer joy of playing that game. And as you get older, you kind of forget. But you can go to and I'm not telling everybody to go to a playground and watch kids play, but when you're younger, you just play these games ad infinitum, and it's just the joy of playing the game. So are you competing then, or are you just playing? Is playing, so playing doesn't always have to be a competition, but really you're just playing, you're not necessarily competing, so there's no extracurricular benefit to competing. You're really just playing, and part of playing is competing, and you're playing to have fun, and that's the competition. As you get older, there starts to be competition. So, like, I remember Barrett Hall. So at Barrett Hall, I left Barrett Hall in first grade, so I kind of remember. So my favorite day at Barrett Hall was Blue Gold Day, and I went there so I probably went there like 3 years, from pre-K to kindergarten to first grade. First grade, that's 3 years. It's a pretty good run. So, and I may have even gone there before pre-K. I don't even know what they had, but in first grade we played a game called Blue Gold. And if you don't know what Barrett Hall was a Catholic high school in the city of St. Louis, and it had Barrett Hall was all boy, but it had a sister. It had, in the same facility, it had City House, which was an all-girl grade school. And I think it even went through high school. So I would have gone through Barrett Hall through 12th grade if it stayed open. But they were shutting Barrett Hall down. That's why I left after first grade. They were shutting it down. So anyway, we won't talk about the Catholic Church and the Archdiocese of St. Louis and their their I don't want to say lack of vision, because there's adults trying to make godly decisions for the good of the Catholic community. But they keep shutting down schools, and they keep wondering why their money keeps going down, going to the Pope. And apparently the Vatican's having some money issues because the money's not flowing in from other countries. And it's like it's because Pope Francis, you're not really our Pope. You're not really our Pope. You're a communist, and really our Pope is still alive. And until that Pope passes this world, this life, and goes to the next one, you're not the Pope. And most of us Catholics understand that, and so we don't. The money that's going into the Catholic Church, if you're not trying to keep it local to a parish that you believe in, then you're making a mistake, because communism is a wicked evil upon the human soul. And if you have a Pope that proposes communism, he may be Christian, but doubtful. And I say that because Karl Marx was a priest, but he turned from God to man. And when he did that, he really lost his Christianity, because God is God and man is man. Like you can't think that man overrides God. You can't think that doing bad things for a good reason is okay. Because it's not. It doesn't. It's not. It's not okay. You can't go out and like this idiot in New York that killed the guy from United Healthcare. All that stupid ass kid did was give all the CEOs that make all this money, all it did was give them a pay raise, because it increased their risk of having that job. So now they're all going to get a pay raise, and you're going to increase their security. So a non-productive service, they're going to have to pay their officers more. They're going to have to raise insurance rates, and they're going to have to add security as part of their compensation package for a higher end health insurance executives. And executives all over now are going to have a higher end security. So it's going to once again take the middle class, the upper class, the people that have studied hard and worked hard and made a lot of money because they can produce at a higher level than the rest of us knuckleheads, is going to make more resources go to protecting them than making our lives better. So all this idiot did was make our lives as middle classers worse. So now everything's going to cost a little bit more, because the people that run everything have to have better protection. They're going to be more elite. They're going to be more exclusive. That kid, when you do evil, you don't know, when you cause a ripple, you don't know where that ripple ends. And when you cause a ripple with a bad act, generally speaking, that ripple is going to come back into a wave and drown you. And that's exactly what bad acts do. That's why the whole point is do good acts. Because if you do a good act and there's something bad that comes from it, at least you know you did good. At least you know you tried to do good. And that's the beautiful thing about Donald Trump. It's like he is. Anyway, I'm going way off course here. So I want to talk about the things that God experienced, that the Creator experiences, that we experience in our lifespan. So when we're children, play, right? The joy of playing. When we get a little bit older, the spirit of competition. So you start getting a little bit older, the playness starts turning into who's the fastest, who can win the race, who can win this competition, who can get the stars, who can get the ribbons. So now our playtime turns to competition. So just thinking out loud, what did the Creator of the universe ever compete against? So how does the creator know what competition is? I'm just asking because there's really the creator has no competition, and yet we compete for all things in games and in sports and athletics and academics. We compete against ourselves all the time. So I guess, do you think the creator competes against? So that's one of the things that maybe the golf makes it such a special game. Is the only thing I can see the creator of the universe competing against to be better would be the creator. So maybe our creator is competing against himself or herself, but obviously the creator is neither a man nor a woman. But how is the creator competing against himself to be better? And so I do think one of the ways our creator um, feels us is through competition. But if you really, I think the only thing that the creator could compete against, honestly, would be its own being, to be better. And that's one of the things about golf. But think about this then. If the creator can be better, the creator is possible of making mistakes. Just say it. It's possible, because if you're already perfect, then why would you compete? Why would you compete against yourself? So if the creator made us in his image and we know competition and competition makes us better, then there's a high chance the creator competes against himself to be better. Just a thought. And the best sport for competing against yourself to be better is by far golf. Oh my gosh, I think that's why so many people get so addicted to golf, is because maybe it's that competition against yourself to see how good you can be. And one of the beautiful things, and I'll digress here for a second with LifeWave, is at golf, as you get older, and we'll stay with our theme is God going through our life cycles. One of the things with golf as you get older is you lose muscle mass, you lose stem cells, you lose copper peptides, you lose desire, you lose testosterone. So you lose, as you get older, you lose all these things. And so what generally happens is, on a competitive level, you lose competitiveness against yourself, because you can't hit the ball as far, you can't hit the ball as high. And so as we degrade, as our bodies degrade, we lower our competitive standards against ourselves, as opposed to what victory is for us. What's a good round? What's a good shot? Instead of hitting it 260 yards, well, I hit it 250. That's a good drive for me today because I'm not feeling so strong. When you're young, you're competing against yourself to hit it the farthest you can, the highest you can. You're competing to get better. And as you get older, you're competing to degrade your abilities as slowly as you possibly can. One of the beautiful things about LifeWave is it's kind of a reset. It kind of reverses the whole process. It's like, okay, so I can only hit the ball 250, but now I can hit the ball 260. Now my muscle mass is coming back. Now my virility in wanting to compete and be better, not just slow the downgrade, but be better than I was yesterday, be longer, be stronger, hit it higher, is back. And that's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing. That's called age reversal, and that's what LifeWave helps with. The X39, get on it. Let's keep going back, because I want. I kind of want to make. I've got it. Anyway, so I'm waiting for my wife to call. I didn't tell her anything, but I'm waiting for my wife to call. So it's 11:30 now, And it's over 50-50 odds that my wife will call me. I think I've got my ringer on, so if she calls, we'll see if I win or lose that bet. So competition. So as we go through competition, so now we're competing in academics. So now we're getting to teen years, right? So we've gone from playing, competing, and God made us in His image. So what's the next thing? So now, puberty hits. Now we're competing for mates. We're competing to become adults, and really, this is where the Creator has created this insane universe. So the one thing that the Creator is a creator. So the Creator never stops creating. So like right now the universe is expanding. We got more stars. It's insane. That's why one of the people that study the stars and the universe around us, you kind of always think of them as whacked out. But what a great way to spend your life. To understand the universe around us and how tremendously expansive and all of the things that the Creator has done in this, all the things He's created. I mean, He's created suns. He's created mechanisms that create suns, that birth stars, that birth entire galaxies. I mean, wow. And we're sitting here in this little planet, third rock from a star, because that's all the sun is to someplace else 1,000 light years away is this little star. And here we are, made in the image of the Creator of the universe. And I think I made this point last time. Of all the things in the universe, okay, all these stars, all these rocks, how many of them, and even in our world, on Earth, how many of them are made in the image of the Creator? Zero. Humankind, to our knowledge, is the only being in the universe that God made in God's image. So all these things that we experience, that we feel, in all the universe, on our planet, we're the only people that understand that we're in God's image. There are animals on our planet that can feel love, that can feel pain. So mammals can feel a lot of these things that we feel, but they don't know that they're made in the image of God. They don't know because they're not, right? They experience life. In order for us to be part of the image of God, there has to be life. In order for us to survive, there has to be life around us. So other things get to experience life and the joy of life, but they don't get to experience the Creator. They don't get to experience being made in the image of the Creator. So going through puberty, becoming even closer to the Creator. So we've experienced playfulness, we've experienced joy. Now we experience the ability to create as a young man or as a young woman, to have babies. But we're not prepared for the responsibility by any stretch of the imagination, but we have the physical ability. We experience the physicality of being able to create at a very young age. Next comes responsibility. So we don't need to go into the Creator's ability to create, because that's we understand that part of it, right? And that part of it is definitely in the image of God, because God's a creator. And as we go through our teenage years, we become creators. Next comes responsibility. So if you want to create things, you experience life, but if you want to be responsible and create things, then you kind of are responsible for those things you create in life. I didn't find this out till much older, because I enjoyed playing, competing, and the ability to reproduce, but not necessarily responsibility of reproduction. But when you do reproduce, you're responsible. And that's an insane responsibility, right? So the Creator, when He creates this universe, think about the immense responsibility the Creator feels for everything that He makes or God makes. So that's you when you have one child, it is overwhelming feeling of responsibility. Imagine how the Creator feels towards all the children that are made in God's image. So we're all God's children, right? So imagine the responsibility He feels like something He's created in God's image. Every time there's a child born, He's got to feel like a father or like a mother or both. So when you experience that dread of like, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to feed this child? What am I going to, the Creator's feeling that because you're made in the image of the Creator. And the things that you're feeling and experiencing are things that Creator feels and experiences. Right? Now we're going to get to the depressing part about this. Death, right? So then we compete to be responsible. We compete to enjoy. We rinse and repeat the cycle of our children growing up, watching them play, watching them compete, watching them go through the ability to become adults and responsible and being able to create as well, to procreate as well. And now we prepare, right? We prepare for death because that's the life cycle. It may take longer to get from procreating to death, but really, if you look at it, it's probably about half the cycle. From when you stop being of the age that it's reasonable to procreate to when you die, it's that's not a lot left of it. So if we're made in the image of God, the Creator doesn't die. The Creator doesn't die. So we can't die. Think about it. The Creator doesn't die. The Creator is never going to experience death. So if we're made in God's image, how can we experience death? And the answer is we don't. We don't die. We just don't. So then the question becomes like, okay, well, that's interesting. So so if we don't die, what happens to us? Well, I think it's does a caterpillar die? The caterpillar thinks it's going to die. I mean, a caterpillar doesn't know it's a butterfly, and a butterfly, my guess is, doesn't know it was a caterpillar. So we're caterpillars. That's what we are. We're caterpillars. And some point in time, we're experiencing the cocoon phase before we become a butterfly. And I guess the question becomes, in the battle between here being a caterpillar versus when we become a butterfly, is that a competition? How long can you live? How healthy can you live? What can you accomplish on a competitive basis before you reach the butterfly stage? Should we think about, do we have a choice of what type of butterfly we're going to be? That's a crazy question. If you're a caterpillar, so certain caterpillars become certain butterflies. That's what's going to happen. So do all human beings become the same butterfly? And the answer is probably not. Probably not. But we're all made in God's, the Creator's image. So chances are we all do become butterflies. So I guess the thought process is is what kind of butterfly do you want to become? So the creator doesn't die, we're not going to die. And so the question becomes, what type of butterfly do you want to become? And I guess that's a really deep question. And I think the creator of the universe saw that a lot of these these caterpillars, these caterpillars that he called human beings for thousands and thousands of years, even though they were made in the image of the creator of love and doing good things, that because of the competitive factors of reproducing and providing and needing and desiring and the ability to have free will, which the creator didn't have to give us. The creator, in creating us, could have not given us free will. But the creator did, because if the creator wanted us to be in the creator's image, we had to have free will. We had to be able to choose. The creator had to give us the ability to choose between right and wrong, good and evil, love and suffering. Because otherwise we're not choosing. It's just we're just robots. We're just Stepford wives. We're not in the image of a free being choosing to be a butterfly. We're just really walking robots. So the thought process is like, so one, I would think one of the things that we really want to focus on is, number one, LifeWave X39 is trying to go back to where you're the joy, the play, the competition, to where you're not just getting older, feeling weaker, preparing to meet your maker. Although we're all going to meet our maker, because that's a battle, that's a competition that you will not win, right? You will not win it. Eventually, we will all die. It's a given that we will die. So the question becomes like, how do you want to get from here to there? Do you want to slowly degrade and get weaker, shorter off the tee, slower to the ball, or would you prefer to get there running, competing, being the best that you can be with the X39 patch? Because the last year of my life has been a blessing beyond blessings. We're coming out with a water that's going to blow humanity away. It's going to increase your light, your bioluminescence light signature in your body. And then these patches are going to reflect a stronger bioluminescence back into your body and make your bioluminescence even stronger, the signal of light in your body even stronger. And it's going to be even more fun to compete, to play. I don't know about reproduce. I don't know about reproduction. Like, once, I don't necessarily know if the creator had it in his mind that we would be as creative and productive as he was. I don't think that's necessarily the creator's plan. But that's kind of a personal thing for you. But there's all sorts of other ways to compete and work on what type of butterfly we want to become. So do you want to be a monarch? Oh, I got a call, but it's not my wife. Damn it. So what type of butterfly do you want to become? Right? So do you want to become a butterfly that everybody looks at when they go by and go, oh, that's just an absolute beautiful butterfly. It is beautiful colors in its wings. It's a joy to look at. Or do you want to be a moth that's just attracted to a light? So I would tell you that the ability in all of us in some way, shape, or form, the Creator has put in light. And that light resonates inside you. And when we pass away this world, that light is what we're going to be. And that the brighter, the better, the more fun you can make that light in this world, the more fun, the more fun you're going to have in the next. Games are afoot in the next world. What games are you going to play when you're in the light? What games are you going to play? How much are you going to be able to share what you've become in this world in the next world, if you want to share the next world with another light, with another star, with another being made in the image of the Creator in the next life, in the next world? Because it makes a difference. It makes a difference. This is where we redefine. This is where we get to define who we are, what type of star we want to be, what we want to do in heaven, what we want to I don't know if there's any really accomplishments in heaven. I don't know if there's competition in heaven. I'm sure there's on some level. I don't know if you produce a lot in heaven, but maybe it's a different type of production. Maybe since you don't have to worry about food, maybe since you don't have to worry about water, since you don't have to worry about going to the bathroom, since you don't have to worry about procreating, maybe there's a different type of competition in heaven where you compete in games. You compete with finding stars that you can spend eons with. There's probably no time in heaven. I can't imagine there's a time frame in heaven. But maybe you in heaven, you work as a star if you're an intellectual. Maybe in heaven you work as a star to help other stars, to help other caterpillars make better decisions, see things a better way, talk with stars that want to talk with you, that see that they're going to become a star. And I think one of those guys is David Schmidt. I think David Schmidt is in touch with the stars. Honest to goodness, so David Schmidt is the founder of LifeWave. But how else do you get to put a patch on your body that just reflects your own bioluminescence? So first of all, how many of you knuckleheads even know that your body has a bioluminescence? That your body emits a light, not just infrared, not just heat, but that your body actually illuminates a different light wave that because of our limited eyesight, we can't see it. Everybody raise your hand. 0? Yeah, that's what I thought. It does. Look it up. Bioluminescence. Look it up. So now, who thinks in a million eons, in hundreds of thousands of evolution, that you as a human being would have the ability to communicate with that light? Nobody again? Well, first of all, you didn't even know you had a bioluminescence, much less be able to communicate with it. Right? Okay. So this is David Schmidt. He figures out we've got bioluminescence, figures out he can make a patch at a certain pattern with a certain numerical message back to the bioluminescence, and it tells the bioluminescence, it tells your body to do something. That's crazy. That's just absolute insanity. That is sci-fi craziness. Somebody perhaps in touch with the light we are going to become, right? So now he's like, well, the X39 works pretty good, but how could I make it work better? Well, I could maybe figure out a way to increase our bioluminescence. What? So the light that we can't see, you're telling me you think you've got a way through something to be able to increase the amount of bioluminescence that our body emits, that is inside, internal. And the answer is yes, he does. He does. And this is where it gets insane. This is where you start thinking, well, this star has figured out a way to communicate with other stars, and when we turn into butterflies, and the butterflies, some part of the butterflies are up there, they're competing to communicate with the stars that want to be communicated with, that believe in the stars. Kind of like the Peter Pan, like where Tinkerbell's like nobody believes in fairies or in Tinkerbell. Oh my gosh, what the hell was Tinkerbell? Hey, Justin, what was Tinkerbell? She was what was Tinkerbell in Peter Pan?
Tinkerbell,
A fairy. Okay, yeah. So when Tinkerbell says like nobody believes in fairies anymore, so there's no more fairies. Well, for those people that believe in stars, maybe the stars can communicate with them. And maybe that's the key to having stars, is always believing in them. That's where Jesus Christ comes in, obviously, because all of these things that I've just been talking about, your star turning into a butterfly, not a moth, God saw that we were all, most of us, turning into moths. Like, few of us were following the Ten Commandments, that really the promises and the leeway he gave with free will was kind of an overburdensome map. God, the creator, didn't think, like, he knew that this was the best thing for the life that he created, the image that he created, in order for them to shine their bright and become a butterfly. But the reality of it was it was awful lonely. It was awful lonely in Creator land, because although mankind was made in God's image, very few of us were following through. We're all failing the free will test pretty easily, right? We're just not good. Just because you can procreate doesn't mean you have to. Just because you desire to procreate doesn't mean you should. So all these desires and wants and needs that the Creator had given us for life had necessarily derailed the whole free will bargain that the Creator thought was a pretty fair bargain, right? But the reality of it was, for those of us made in the Creator's image, although we had all these wonderful things, the overriding factor was getting food, creating shelter, procreating, pleasure. So big fail. And so God sent Jesus Christ down, and the Creator understood. So maybe this is like this whole fail thing. This whole fail thing was, maybe that was a God fail, right? A Creator fail. That, like, I'm not saying that giving us free will was a fail. I'm just saying, like, he had to factor in probably post facto with free will. He didn't know necessarily where that was going to go. It's like, oh, it's not going well. I better give him Jesus Christ, because I want, these are, he felt pain. He felt pain of us dying and not knowing our light, not knowing becoming moths, and not knowing everlasting joy in God's light. So he didn't create human beings just to die, right? He created life, human life, in his image, so that we could live forever. So part of this process of living forever is the cocoon, going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. But the beautiful part about being made in the Creator of the image is we know Jesus Christ. We know the pathway, that cocoon phase, is we're wrapped in the cross of the Creator's Son. When he became man, suffered pain, suffered death. We know if we're wrapped in that cocoon, that we're going to be a butterfly. We're going to be a butterfly. And so, what type of butterfly do you want to be? The Creator is out there creating. He's got a plan for when you turn into that butterfly. He's got lots of ways to enjoy the light of the Creator in this insane universe. So figure out how bright you want that light to shine. And that's what you're competing for. That's what you're battling for. That's what you want to work for. That's my show. Hope you enjoyed it. God bless you one and all. And you guys have a great weekend. And we're going to finish with Why Not?
mosquitoes on the river, fish are rising up like birds. It's been hot for 7 weeks now, too hot to even speak now. Did you hear what I just heard?